told me I should fight back. They don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft. Woo!
What up, everybody in YouTube? I know I've been missing for about a week. Last week I was pretty much sick, and it would have just been very difficult for me to make time to make videos, not feeling well, and I didn't feel that it would have been anywhere near as productive as I would have wanted it to be. So decided that I just was not gonna make any videos till I felt better. Pretty much took me the whole week, but now I'm back. I typically don't make videos on Sundays, but I decided to make an exception, being that I wasn't able to make a video all week. So over the weekend we had some fights. Just gonna touch on most of them briefly. First, I want to go ahead and talk about Chisora versus Takam. I definitely was picking Takam to win the fight, and I was wrong. As far as Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker, I thought Parker was going to win the fight. I was wrong about that as well. But all these guys, they gave good fights over the weekend. Big respect to all of them. Chisora, Takam, Parker, and Whyte. So congratulations to the winners of those fights. Let me go ahead and talk a little bit about the American fight card, which featured Luis Ortiz versus Cornaju was the guy? Cornaju? I can't remember which one it is. I want to say Cornaju. I, of course, expected Luis Ortiz to win. It was scheduled for 10 rounds, but Luis Ortiz ended it in the second. I was not expecting it to end that quickly. I really didn't know what to expect, to be honest. Luis Ortiz had never lost before fighting Deontay Wilder, so I was interested to see if that was going to affect his confidence, if he was going to play things safe. Was he going to finesse his way to a victory? Was he going to go balls to the walls, or was he just going to be very timid and fold under pressure of, maybe losing again and then actually losing again? But he definitely showed that the loss to Wilder really didn't affect him at all. He went in there and he made easy work of Cornaju. And that's something that Parker wasn't able to do. So I tip my hat off to Luis Ortiz. Would definitely love to see him go up against Deontay Wilder again. It would also be interesting to see him fight Whyte. I honestly, if I had my way, Ortiz versus Whyte would happen next. And then Wilder and Joshua, should Joshua get past Povetkin. Whoever the winner of that fight is can fight the winner of Ortiz versus Whyte. I think that's the way I would like to see things play out. But I'm a realistic boxing fan. I know more than likely what I would like to happen is not going to happen. So it is what it is. Deontay Wilder has still yet to announce his next fight. We all seem pretty sure that it was going to be Brazil, but at this point in time, I think a lot of people are having their doubts that it's going to be Brazil. Some people seem to think that Brazil has said a bit too much for Deontay Wilder's liking, and that he's probably looking for other options. That could be what's going on, but that is pure speculation. So I'm not going to pass judgment on Deontay Wilder as far as what he's going to do. I can only pass judgment on what he's done, and I think I made myself pretty clear as to who I think is ducking who in the Wilder versus Joshua situation. Now let's go ahead and talk about Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter Jr. This is a fight that I was looking forward to because unifications are always interesting, especially when your thought process is, well, if Mikey Garcia beats Easter, as I had expected him to do, and he did, and Lomachenko can get that fight with Beltran and presumably beat him, we could have an another undisputed champion happen in the not so distant future at 135 pounds. So let me go ahead and just cover the fight a little bit before I give my thoughts on the post-fight interview. So I think Mikey Garcia, he did pretty good. I mean, I think Easter actually did better than I expected him to do. He didn't do what he usually does, which is give up his reach and height advantage. He actually used those. The problem is he just, in using those advantages, he never capitalized on any of it. You know, he kept the distance as much as he could. He controlled a good amount of the fight. You know, he wasn't really allowing Mikey Garcia to do what Mikey Garcia wanted to do. But this is boxing. It's about hit and not get hit, not just not get hit. And you know, there was a point where I think it was the 4th or 5th round where Easter just didn't see I believe it was a left hook coming, and he got put down for the second time in his career. But then he came back and made sure that he didn't make that same mistake again. But he was quite cautious for a good amount of the rest of the fight. There were a couple instances in the later rounds where he opened up a little bit more, had some moderate success, but ultimately it was not enough to get the W. And I do apologize that the ice cream man is passing by right now. But anyways, I have a lot of respect for Robert Easter Jr. for giving a valiant effort. I also have to say that Robert Easter Jr., how in the world did he get paired with Adrian Broner? Like, I know they're both from Toledo, Ohio, but just because you're from the same city and state doesn't mean that you got to be cool with each other. I mean, look at Porter. He's not really all that cool with Broner. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think he hates Broner or anything, but I remember their fight a couple years ago. Broner kind of took things to personal places that he really didn't need to. So, but I mean, here you got Robert Easter Jr., who, if I'm not mistaken, is 24 years old. And then you got Adrian Broner, and all they did was show him for a quick moment. And then you see how Adrian Broner takes the opportunity that the camera's on him to just give the finger to everybody. Whereas Robert Easter Jr. was the one in there getting booed at, taking punches to the face, and taking his first L. And at the end of the night, he had probably one of the best post-fight interviews I've ever seen from somebody who just lost their O. I mean, he was not he made no excuses, made absolutely zero excuses. Went ahead and said, you know, it's just back to the drawing board. And he said that that's what he does, win, lose, or draw anyways. And I think that's the right attitude to have. It just amazes me that he's 4 years younger than Broner, but he is so much more wiser than Broner. And I know I probably used some terrible grammar just now, but fuck it. But yeah, I mean, I think Robert Easter Jr., he has what it takes to continue. You know, not everybody's going to retire undefeated, but he could definitely, with that attitude and with the right tools and the right training, he could come back and become a champion again. And, you know, depending on what happens, he could get a rematch with Mikey Garcia, and who knows how the second fight would turn out. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the post-fight interview with Mikey Garcia. Now, Robert Easter Jr. has had one of the best post-fight interviews from a loser who just lost their O. I would have to say that Mikey Garcia probably had one of the worst post-fight interviews for somebody who just won. I said earlier, going into this fight, a lot of people had the expectation that should Mikey Garcia beat Robert Easter Jr., that would bring us one step closer to an undisputed champion at 135 pounds. Should Lomachenko be able to get the fight with Beltran and defeat him. But Mikey Garcia, in typical Mikey Garcia fashion, is talking about a fight that just doesn't seem very realistic with Errol Spence Jr. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being confident in your ability. There's nothing wrong with truly believing that you can beat a guy who is not only 2 weight classes above you, but is considered to be the most feared fighter at that division. But to actually pursue the fight and really legitimately try to get that fight, especially when you can achieve some pound for pound greatness right where you're at, you have unfinished business right where you're at, it's not a good look. It's not a good decision. I don't think this is a good career decision. There is a such thing as taking an unnecessary loss. Right now, he has an undefeated record. I can't say that I can give him any chance to beat Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is just too strong for him. He's too big for him. And, Mikey Garcia struggled somewhat with Robert Easter Jr., who was somewhat bigger than him. What do you think Errol Spence Jr., who could very easily fight at 154 pounds, would do to Mikey Garcia? I don't think it's going to end well for Mikey Garcia if he goes that route. There's nothing wrong with daring to be great, but it would be daring to be great to fight Lomachenko in an undisputed title match. You'd become undisputed. Lomachenko is considered to be either number 1 or number 2 pound for pound by many boxing fans. Errol Spence Jr. is not. I don't think you should just protect your O at all costs, but I also don't think that you just give it away either. And I feel like that's what he would be doing, is giving away his O. I don't know what is going through Mikey Garcia's mind. At least go for the undisputed first before you make that huge jump to fight Errol Spence Jr. And he's talking about fighting him in December. So, I don't know what Mikey Garcia is thinking. I think his brother and anybody else who is, giving him advice, giving him training, should really have a serious talk with him and say, hey, you know what? We still have work to do at 135 pounds. All right, let's get this out of the way and then move up to fight Errol Spence Jr. And you know what? If you're not able to get that out of the way because you lost to Lomachenko or to anybody else at 135 pounds, then you really weren't ready to take on Errol Spence Jr. in the welterweight division in the first place. Errol Spence Jr. is just over there licking his chops like, oh yeah, I'm finally going to get another name, only this time will be a pound for pound name. Errol Spence Jr., he's loving it. And, it is what it is. If Mikey Garcia is going to pursue that fight, just think it's a huge Huge mistake. But that's all I have to say about all these fights that happened over the weekend. I'm going to try to be more active this week. Somewhat. I just remembered I'm actually going on vacation. I'm not going on vacation the whole week, so first couple days of the week I should be able to upload a video, some videos, no problem. But after that, I'll try, but I ain't making no promises. To all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, please leave your comments in the comment section below about what you felt about the fights, what you feel about my opinion on the fights, and especially, this whole situation with Mikey Garcia. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
Undefeated.